So I get it. All right, we're back. We are COMP1006, Winter 2017, Lesson 9, or Week 9, Part 2 of our broadcast here at Georgian. It's Intro to Web Programming, and we're doing some stuff that's interesting but weird, all right? So where we left off is we have this pathing issue, right? And I'm just going to take this away for a second. And the pathing issue was here. So when we're inside of our login page, if I change the path to scripts, blah, 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 this href path here, this is neat, but I need to make it a way of going up to using relative path to find everything. Okay. Here's something that I found online that might be helpful. If you look at relative paths, you can do something like this. Dir name, base directory is my dir name. Now, sometimes we need to have the base directory if we want to save a file somewhere. We want to do any kind of file kind of work. We want to use the directory name. And that's why dir name exists. There's two. There's dir name dir and dir name file. So let me show you those. So if I go to PHP, echo, and we kind of copy paste that part in there. That's not what I looked for. I meant grab this and paste it in, and it'll find it for you. I just do that, and I press save, and I go back to my login page where I know if things are working and refresh. You can see that I get this, C users, Tom, desktop, da-da-da-da, right? And I get this C : / stuff. That's dir name dir. If I go dir name file, take a look at this one. This is the other one, dir name file. Right, and I go back to this one and refresh, I get this, C users, Tom, desktop, comp, blah, 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 right to the file, partials. So it takes me right to the file path, right? The only thing I don't have is my login.php, which I can totally put. So that's like absolute, directory. And this is good for things like files, but not really good for what we want to do, okay? There's also this, and I found this fairly interesting that they wrote it this way, root URL. Okay, now this is what you were saying, right, about, a path. So I don't know what the URL is, and I want my system to detect it for me, right? And I want to include this root URL piece right here every time. So whenever I echo this root URL, it's going to combine with everything else and hopefully get me to where I'm going. Now this, for the most part, may work. However, I'm just putting it out there, and scratching the wind here like this, right? It won't work for us. I'll tell you why, right? If I take this root URL, let's see what it says here. It's using the ternary operator, like Dasha was saying, right? So it says, hey, if server HTTP is not empty, then use HTTPS. Otherwise, use HTTP. So we're formulating the path, : // right? And then what we're doing is we're saying, add on my HTTP host, in this case, localhost, / and then /. And what this does is it'll make that first localhost / part, right? That's good. That's a good start. And that's the root URL, right? That's this part. Okay. Then what I want to do is I want to add in these other pieces, right? For example, I want to go to where I'm at right now. And the problem with that is my folder structure is COMP1006. It'll work on Azure, but it won't work for us. If I go to COMP1006 / and then COMP1006 - Winter 2017, it won't pick all that up. That's the folder that I'm inside of, right? Do you know what I'm saying? So from a pathing perspective, this is where we get a little funky, because it'll work up on Azure, no problem, because it'll find up my path and I can go scripts and so on, but it won't work up on here. So this is good. It's a good idea, but it won't work for us because we're testing locally. So I could do the following thing. I could use this local testing folder. So I'm going to get this root URL here, and this is a neat idea. I like this. Okay, I'm going to copy it. I go back over here to my file. So in the top of my file, in here, where I have my scripts, I could include that URL, right? So remember, once I include it once, and because it's in my header, it's included in everything. So I could do something like this. I could say, oh no. Erg. I could say the root URL itself, define this up to here. My base directory, that doesn't make any sense because that's like C:/ blah, blah, blah. And I didn't quite get everything here. I got too much. Sorry. Just to there. So copy. And let's just undo that. And in here, paste. All right, so that is my root URL. And if I want to show you what that is, make some space in here and go to the end. I want to kind of include that. And if I do a PHP echo, if I echo my root URL for a second to show you what that is, and I get the following. Refresh, C:/localhost. That's my root URL. But that doesn't give me what I want. Look, it's :localhost, and then COMP1006, COMP1006, W2017 lesson 9, right? And that's my local folder structure, right? And I'm never going to get that because I'm local to my PHP server. Now here's another thing I can do. If I went into PHP Storm and I actually clicked on one of these things, it's a totally different route too. Watch. So get one of those. Now look what I got here. I got this really long route, and I got this HTTP localhost 63342. That's this part, but the rest won't work, right? So this part is just that local host. Now this is great for Azure, like I said, because you'll get whatever my name is, .azurewebsites.net / and then I can add in my own stuff. But for us, not going to work. So what I need to do is actually for temporarily purpose, for testing purposes, for local, right? I'm going to set up another variable name, right? So I'm going to put in local, I'll say local root, right? Is equal to our root URL, right? Plus, which is the dot, and then that other piece that we're missing, which is COMP1006, 1006, that kind of stuff. Part. Because I need to put this in there. It's just a workaround for now, right? Yeah.
Would you be able to just create a variable and then have it go to the outermost file and save that as a variable? And that could be.
What's the outermost file?
Could be your like main.
C:/ blah, blah, that one?
Yeah, the one you do the dot all the way to the outside.
Yeah, but then that would be the, if I went ... if I kept on going back up, how far could I go? Like what's the limit? Is it, can it,
That you have all of your PHP documents and all your.
would that be, but what is it going to return? C:/, or is it going to return, what's the,
Because you have them all inside your.
how do you go there? How do you go to the root of your web app? Huh? Yeah, but that's different. That's not the document. If I did that, so I'm going to go with what you just said, right? So let's go and so I'll stop this for a second, and instead of root URL, I'll go into, so you're thinking about server document root, right?
Yeah.
Okay, undo. And this is good. This is good discussion because you're going to encounter this problem, right? So _ server, then inside there document. I think it's document root. There we go. This part. So let's see what that gives us. And I want to just show you so you can understand. So this is this. C WAMP www. That's what it gives you. That's not going to give you what you want. That's my document root where I'm getting everything. Now on Azure, it might work okay, right? But not here, right? Because if I go to there, if I go C:/ WAMP, blah, 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 doesn't mean anything to me. I like your thinking, though. That's the correct way of thinking.
Wherever your index folder is, you just have to backtrack up.
Okay, let's try that out. So if I go into,
Individually for each page, setting a variable.
all right, so again, how do I find the root for that? So if this is my root URL, and if I went up a bunch of steps, so I went .. it's going to take me somewhere, right? Where's it going to take me? This is my, so if I did a couple slashes forward, like this, right, you're saying, for everything, right? It can only go up so many times, right? Well, let me show you, right? So if I went like this, right? This is what you're saying. Go up to the highest level. This is the highest level. There's no other higher level than this. Because scripts is on the main level. Scripts, this part here, is on the main level, right? So if I go up higher than scripts, right? A couple levels, where's it going to go? Right? Let's see if that works. So I go back to this and refresh, see what happens. Look at this, right? And it's trying to find, if I go look and see what it says. So if I keep climbing the ladder, like what you're showing me to do, right? It says bootstrap.min, and this is what it says. It says HTTP localhost COMP1006 scripts. Well, there is no COMP1006. It's going to go outside of my folder, which it's not going anywhere. That's the problem. It'll keep traversing up as long as your server will allow it. So that's not going to solve it for us. And that's why I recommend, as a workaround, let's put something in for now. On Azure, you're just going to use root URL, right? Because that will work perfectly. Okay. So this is the root URL, and I'm building up something else. I'm going to build up another one that says local root, right? Local root, which is equal to our root URL, right? Dot, which is concatenate with. And then if you notice the path, if I go back up to the path, it's COMP1006, this part, less than 9, / We're going to have to play with this a couple ways because this is not exactly perfect, right? All right, so that's our local root, right? Local root is this, right? So what I want to do is I want to go into my local root, and I want to echo the local root dot and this from my href. That's what I want, right? So I'm not going to put scripts in there anymore. So just scripts by itself, right? By the way, I could do scripts as well. I can define scripts or also content or whatever I want to put in. So put in content, and it'll inject all that stuff up to content, right? But what I want to do actually is just do one of these. So I want to say PHP, and then echo, and then local root. We'll change this later on when we upload to thing, and we'll fix it. We'll find another solution for this. But for now, let's see how this works out. Does it work, first of all? Because it may not for you, right? Maybe it's going to be different. I got to put a dot in there. Dot is concatenate, right? And it can't be like this. That's not correct, Tom. It's like this, where I go to the end of this thing here, because that's got to be added into the whole root, right? This part here is the scripts, and I got to do PHP. That's what I got to put in there. So I got to do the first part and the last part because I got to add it on, right? So I got to do one of these, and I got to do one of those here, here, and here. And at the end, I got to close it off every time. So this one, and this one, and this one. Let's see if I can get there, first of all, as normal, because I like this idea, but it may not work. All right, so go back here and refresh. Okay, don't worry about this. That's the bottom part. The top part works nice. And if I go home, right, now the link has to be changed too, right? Because it's going to be a relative link. All the links had to be that way as well, right? So going back. So my links that are in my path are wrong, but this is the first step. This part here. Now I always have this echo local root plus. I can do that, right? Because I can do that for here and for my footer. So if I go to my footer, and I can just put that in there. I can just go like, get rid of this, put that in there, and get rid of this, put that in there. And get rid of both those, put that in there. And at the end, insert the last part, which is so I'm kind of encapsulating everything in there, but now there's got to be a better way than this, you might think, right? And there is. Absolutely. Okay, so that's this part. So I'm echoing this path. That's my source in here. And if I save this and go back to here and refresh, and if I go back to the inspect, I should see no errors anymore. You can see that, right? Home is going to be a problem though, because home, if you look at the link, it's localhost COMP1006 less than users index, and that doesn't exist. So that's going to be wrong. It's going to take me to the wrong path, right? So I got to do the same thing here. I'm going to go back to PHP. I'm going to go back to my Nav Bar, and in my links, that's also got to be something I got to put in. So inside my href, this is users logout is correct, but I want to add it in. So I'm going to kind of do la la la. Oops. So that local root. I don't know how did I do that? Local root. Local root. Dot. And I'll copy this. Now it looks really messy, but what it does, it type safes my stuff for a little bit. Or, well, it kind of saves. This is one way of doing it. It's absolute. And home. This is all wrong too. And the same thing in here. So all my links have to be this way if I want to swim from a local route. So I'll grab all this and go in here, put it in, and then there you go. All right, so that saves us there. And I think I don't have any other links right now. My register link is also part of my register page, but that should work because it's right next to my login page, right? Okay, let's try this out. And by the way, it says my navbar.php has an error. Where is the error? I cannot see it. Oh, that's the error. I meant to put it right here. And the same thing goes with this, because otherwise it won't work properly. I'm going to put it in here. Okay. That's going to save my problem. Thank God for PHP Storm. Okay, let's go back to here and go back, refresh, home. And that didn't work. Why? I made a mistake. I made a finger typing error. What happens? How about PHP would be good? Come on, Tom. You're getting lazy now in your old age. I do the same thing over there? Oh, man, what the? All right, that should do it now. Refresh, home. What the heck? Why isn't it working? Where is it taking me to? Comb, blah, blah, blah. Okay, wait a minute. Local root.index.php. Oh. Does it include that or not? Where's my local root? Yeah, see? Freaking pathing. Lesson 9. I mean, I guess I could put that in there, but it's just like so bizarre. Why the heck is it doing that? So let me just go back to my first root. So if I go back to localhost and I go down to this, to COMP1006, and go down to that root, it takes me here. Good. And go log in. What was that? No. It's in my nav bar, my problem. Local root dot index.pp. Oh. La la la. Not going anywhere because I'm not injecting anything. All right, let's go back and refresh and go home. Good. Login. Home. Login. Whew. All right, so what did I do to work around? I created a local root for now. We're going to replace this later on, and we can do that with an if statement, actually. We can say if, I see a local root that's this, then if I'm in localhost, if it's localhost, then I know that I'm going to do my local root. If not, then do this. Right, so I can do that later on. We'll set that up. All right, but for now, we got this stuff running, and I want to do the same stuff. I want to finish this part off before we leave. We got 5 minutes before we take off, and we'll walk to the other room, and then we'll talk about this. So this is the issue now. I want to do my nav bar. I've got my footer, and I got my registration bar. I want to do the same thing with my registration, right? My registration has this part. I want to also do a title equals to register. That's in my title. I want to kind of show me that on the title bar. I want to get rid of all this because it says register up here. Get rid of all this stuff. And I want to include once. And then it's going to be the, we're going to go up one into this, then views, then partials, and then navbar.php. Okay, so that's where it's going to include this part of the partials and then navbar. And I also want to include the header, because we can't do the navbar without the header. So I'm just going to put that in there first. So that's going to be a header.php. No, it just added it in for me, eh? And then I'm going to do the same thing for the footer. So I'm going to go down to the bottom, kill all this stuff, and put that in there, and go to footer.php. So now that should work. And if I did everything correct, hopefully it's all fixed up. So my footer and my header is all done. I should be able to go into register, and it should work just fine. Home. I can log in now, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It'll log me in. I'll log out. Good. If I login should show that it's login, like I'm in the login page, right? And it doesn't right now, but I'll make it do it. And we're going to do the same logic in my nav bar that I used for this part, for the for this part right here, for is set title. But you see, where my title is home, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to say class in my list item, and I'm going to inject this whole piece here inside my list item for my login page, right? So login, when I'm actually logged out, right? And I want to show my login page, it's going to do this. It's going to show me all this stuff where the page is equal to login. If I go back and if I refresh, you can see now that you see that is the the active link. If I go home, active link goes home, login, it goes login, right? So I can switch between the two. However, if I do log in, so I say Thomas and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, press enter, it just takes me to home, and there is no active link for logout because when I log out, I'm out, right? So it just takes me back to the login page. Clear? So in this session, what we've done before we go to the other room and before we do object-oriented everything, I want to show you that. I've done, and we're going to figure this relative path stuff out as well. We've basically added a partials to our files. We can load in partial files, which is what we wanted to accomplish. And we noticed there's a problem with relative path because when we go up from a certain folder, especially when all the links are added in, we want to kind of sanitize all the links so that way when I go to a particular link, it goes to that particular link. It's almost like I want to register all the links and go to those links. And there's actually a way to do that, right? Any questions around this stuff so far? I'm going to run to the B230 room now. And when we go there, I want to talk about object-oriented programming in PHP and how to do that, okay? Because we're going to have to do that with some of the stuff we're going to build going forward, okay? I'll meet you there for those people who want to.